Hi and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss about various sources of financing for entrepreneurs. Last few days we are all discussing about entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs are the people who are doing their own business, and talking about various sources of financing, which is going to be today's topic. And this is one of the crucial and vital topic for entrepreneurs, because financial aspects are quite important for entrepreneurs. Because every business finally monitoring matters. How we all have come across various business, and it's going to be one of the core area which needs to be planned by an entrepreneur. So, how do we design? How do we think of how various sources of financing? And normally, finance in the sense it can be for new business or existing business. Being an entrepreneur has to plan that exactly what kind of the financial fund is required, and whether it is interested focused fund, especially for a very big business or for expansion, needs to be planned. And one more thing, when you're thinking of arranging the finance, entrepreneur has to think of how it is going to be received. There could be few more options. Either it could be internally or externally arranged. First of all, you need to identify whether the finance which can be occurred from the external sources or internal sources, or do we need to have any kind of collateral security which needs to be submitted on getting loan. Whether the entrepreneur has to control over all the assets, or it has to be arranged by the people who are assisting to him. So first of all, we need to identify the various types of finance sources. We can categorize like internal sources and external sources. Talking about internal sources, it can be either founder finance. Founder finance means the person who is owning the company can invest the money according to the need of the business, and especially it can be from overdraft also. So do we need to know the meaning overdraft? Overdraft, which is normally given to the current account holder. The current account holder can take money either as a loan, though he has zero balances, but the bank is charging some amount as interest. Okay, this is one of the privileged facilities which are given to the account holder who has been operating in the same account in the bank for long years. A retained profit, which is going to be the another option, which clearly indicates that how long the entrepreneur has been retaining certain amount for future expansion. So from every profit, entrepreneur has to ascertain that what kind of the amount which has to be retained for future expansion. And other category is going to be friends and family. We all think that how our relatives and friends who would assist us in the way of a monetary support, because every time the entrepreneur may not think of getting aid from external people. He has to think whether this kind of financial aid could be supported within our friends and the family. And the last option is going to be credit cards. Credit card, as we all know, that 30 days free 30 days credit support is given by all the credit card people. Is okay, because the duration is very short. So within 30 days the minimum amount can be taken by using credit card. Okay, so this is we can call it as internal. Talk about external sources. External sources I can categorize in the following ways, like a bank loan, business angels, venture capital, trade credit, issue of share and debentures, commercial paper, discounting bill of exchange. So before we are moving on to the external sources in a very deeper way, just I am going to summarize the important points about share and debentures, commercial paper, and bills of exchange, because these are all the instruments which we need to know exactly what does this instrument mean. Share, as we all know, that to raise the capital, the public company has to issue certain kind of shares and call public to buy the shares. So if they want to raise the capital, especially they want to raise the capital, they can sell out this kind of shares and to the public, and public can buy the shares in the assigned amount. Okay, and we can categorize different kind of share, I think, because I don't want to go in a very deeper way, but I can give you example like equity share or preferred share. Equity as means like a capital from just for expanding the capital we are selling equity, and especially the founders who are able to cover up all the equity share, but sometimes it may be sold to public also. And preferred share in the sense that preferred level of interest which needs to be given to the people, which is normally given to the people who are preferring to buy preferred share. Okay, because they don't want to take much risk. The preferred interest, the interest rate might have been fixed while selling the share, and it has to be continued forever. Okay, but normally the people, those who are buying shares, can be given a kind of dividend. Okay, that's what we can say, the dividend which are allotted to various type of people based on the profitable positions in the company. Okay, and talking about debentures, okay, because most of the people would get confused about debentures and the share. Debentures is nothing but similar to bond. Okay, and it may have a longer period, and the major difference is that debenture people, those who bought debentures from the company, cannot vote. Okay, especially in connection with appointing any kind of higher positions, or attending various kind of meeting or changing the policies. It's all not possible by the debenture holders, and the debentures is a fixed amount of interest which will be given to the people, those who bought the debentures. Okay, and debentures is like a for borrowed funds. Okay, so fixed rate of interest is given, because shareholders, they can get dividend, but debenture people can get fixed rate of interest. Okay, and the compulsory payment of interest is expected for debentures. So even if the shareholders, sometimes they may be facing some kind of losses, whereas debentures are privileged to get amount, that means a certain percentage of interest. Okay, and sometimes in case if you are buying more debentures, the person who is buying the debentures can authorize the company to show something as security. So automatically the buyer of debentures can have some hold. Okay, because it all depends on what type of company it is, and especially it's a redeemable in the sense that as soon as the period gets over, the person should return the debenture. Debenture can be sold in different view. There's debenture at par, debenture at discount rate, and debenture premium. So debenture at par in the sense, for example, if the company is fixing debenture for 100 rupees, and if it is sold at a debenture at par, the same 100 rupees the debenture is being sold. Debenture at discount in the sense, the fixed rate of for debenture is 100 rupees, but the selling debenture will be 80 rupees. So it may be like a 20 rupees as a capital loss. And debenture premium, the debenture which can be sold for 120 rupees. So the 20 rupees is extra which is added. Okay, so profit in capital. And especially it's redeemable, I told you. Once the period is over, the debenture has to be returned, and they can get the value that what they have invested. Okay. And one more thing, you need to identify that appointing of any people related with the debenture related activities, which could be done by the people, those who bought this kind of debentures. Okay, and talking about other major area, like only major problem is no voting. No voting could be done by the debentures, the debenture the people, those who bought the debentures. Okay. And especially everyone is asking about the difference between debenture and bond. So bond is supplied by the government, mainly the government and the sub-government agency, or else some kind of larger organizations which may have a very high credit rating, can sell bond. Even you can have heard about sovereign bond issued by SBI Bank, which is the best example for bond. Bond is 100% zero risk, we can say that, because bond is highly secured. as all bonds are covered with some kind of security given by the institutions. Okay, so and especially debentures are given by private people as well as public company also. Okay, so debentures are comparatively risky than bond, because bond, those who are borrowing or those who are buying bond can be the real collateral security in case if they are having any kind of if they want to buy any loan, and this kind of a bond can be shown as a collateral security. And especially from the liquidity point of company, that institution, financial institutions, first they want to settle down bond. Okay, then after that only they are focusing on this one debentures. Okay, so you know that the value, how the bond people are privileged to get all the money. And as I told you earlier, bond is normally attached with the security. Okay, so that the people, those who bought bond, may not be worrying about whether they have invested huge money, because the principal amount is very safe, whereas debentures are not covered with security, because it depends on the company. Some company they are showing some security, but mostly it's all risk bearing one comparing to bond. Okay, and sometimes if the company credit rates going wrong, or the profit level is getting changed, there will be chances that people would be losing some money. And during redemption period, as I told you that it should be returned to the people. And when you're buying debentures, sometimes the people, those who bought at discounted rated, may be thinking that they get a high profit than other people. Okay, so these are all the differences between bond and debentures. So next we are talking about commercial paper. What does it mean by commercial paper? Commercial paper is issued by private as well as a public company. It's a kind of unsecured promissory note, I would say. I can give the best example. So unsecured promissory note. Promissory note means what? Promissory note nothing but we are, once your amount is borrowed from someone, normally we are writing the words, I hereby, I promise to pay the so and so amount which was collected by so and so people, and the payment period will be this much period, and the interest is going to be this much. So this all information will be included in promissory note. So this is going to be one of the unsecured promissory note. What does mean by unsecured promissory note? Because we don't need to show any kind of security as collateral security. So this is what we can call it as unsecured instrument. Okay, and what kind of overall the company can give? The company should have a minimum 4 crore net worth. Okay, so the people, the company, those who have got 4 crore net worth can issue commercial paper. Okay, commercial paper is a very short term debt instrument from 7 days to 1 year. Okay, and as I told you, the net value should be 4 crore, and the minimum the commercial paper value might be 5 lakhs. Okay, so if you want to buy commercial paper from the company, which should have a commercial rating. Okay, commercial rating, either it can be A2 or else B2. Okay, because this kind of grading which are given by RBI based on the credit rating, and the company should have maintained the working capital in a recognized bank for a long time, because as we all know that CIBIL rating, same like that, even the company is being graded, the company is being standardized in the way of A1, A2, B1, B2. Okay, so based on that, at least the company should have reached the B2 level to get this kind of authority that the company is able to sell that commercial paper. So the company who has gotten 4 crore net worth can issue commercial paper, and the credit rating should be at least A2 or B2. Okay, and again we can say that private company as well as public company can issue commercial paper, and the period will be 7 days to 1 year maximum. It's a short term actually, but the interest will be more. And people, when they are going to buy commercial paper, should have analyzed that whether the company has got a very good credit rating. Okay, and how they are maintaining the working capital for the past several years. So these are all the basic information, and the net worth should be 4 crore. Okay, or else the company may not be eligible to issue commercial paper. Okay, so this is one of the major. Now we are talking about the bills of exchange. Okay, what does mean by bills of exchange? So bills of exchange, as I can give best example that there will be the business between A and B. Okay, so A is the seller and B is going to buy the product. Okay, so B is buying the product on credit. Normally the credit can be given, which could be either 30 or 60 or 90 days, and the seller who has to wait until the allotted period gets over. Okay, but the seller cannot wait until 60 days are completed, because he has to carry out lots of business activities. So in this context, a person is making the bill against the B. The buyer has to sign in the paper, which is clearly mentioning that I bought the product in the value of so much money, and I'm going to pay within 60 days. And he is authorizing that the buyer can get the money within 60 days or within 90 days. So what the seller is going to do, the seller doesn't need to wait for a long time, doesn't need to wait until the expected period gets completed. So the seller can take the paper and it can be issued to the bank in which the borrower may be holding the account. Okay, so the bank can remit the money, okay, based on the account which is being maintained by the borrower. Okay, so the seller can get the money very quickly, and certain kind of rate, some kind of charges will be done. For example, if you collected 1 lakh rupees, if you're selling the product to B, and 98,000 can be obtained from the bank, and the bank people they can have some formalities with the account holder and they can collect the money, that we don't need to involve. So only thing is the bills of exchange, the banker is involving as a supporter of the particular person, so the seller can get benefited and he doesn't need to wait until the assigned period gets over. Okay, this is what we can say, that we are talking about the external sources. Bank loan, the entrepreneur can get a bank loan based on the need of his requirement. And business angels has there will be some investors who may be looking for different business concept. Okay, so based on the business concept, they may be ready to invest the money, provided the concept should be highly attractive to the investor who can invest huge money. Okay, and venture capital, the current venture capital, especially this kind of financial institutions, are ready to invest or support to the entrepreneurs, provided the entrepreneur might have been successful for the past 1 year at least, because we have different stages. During the initial stages, most of the venture capital may not be showing much interest. But after it has been proven that these business ideas are successfully implemented, so that the venture capital might be showing much interest to support the entrepreneur through monetary fund. Then next one is trade capital, the trade credit. Okay, trade credit, entrepreneur can sell the product on credit, and the buyers are privileged to pay the money based on the days which are given by the entrepreneurs. Okay, because most of the entrepreneurs would prefer selling the product on credit, because it can attract more the buyers, it can attract more buyers to buy the product. And even if he wants to raise the fund, he can do selling share and debentures. Okay, share and debentures already explained to you, and commercial papers. Okay, in case if he has more than 4 crore net worth and his capital rating is higher, he would have crossed at least A2 level, so that he can be eligible to issue a commercial paper. And bills of exchange, the bills of exchange, even he can give more discount also on bills of exchange. So by this, all bills of exchange also already explained to you. So by applying this all the methods, entrepreneur can raise his fund. Okay, because this is one of the vital activity which is implemented by the entrepreneur. Every entrepreneur who may be struggling to get the financial aspects, which could be fulfilled by getting bank loan, or it could be supported by business angels or venture capitals, or giving the product on credit, or issuing the shares and debentures, or issuing the commercial papers, or giving discount on bills of exchange. So I told you, I explained the both systems like internal and external. So I hope today classes could be informative to everyone.